Isaiah 19 verse 3, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols. Now, when I came across this line right here in this verse, third verse, I thought about recently this guy, Tyler Perry, had did a video, and he's going to do a special, I don't know if he did it already, about him getting the jab and the importance of his people getting the jab. And then they had Dave Chappelle. He all of a sudden was diagnosed positive for the thing. So what is that? That's your idols. They're getting the idols. And I said this years ago. I said when they push that the mark of the beast, they're gonna get a lot of these idols to take it, so that you say, well, oh, this guy took it, so I'm going to take it. Or this famous singer took it, so I'm going to take it. So I went to one of the videos where he was interviewed by Dale King, and I'm looking at the comments, and all the comments were negative. All the comments were negative, man. Hey, just like when the General Yohana said go ahead and take it, everybody turned against him. If you notice he ain't talking about it no more. It goes on to say, to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. Let me go to the fourth verse, and I'm going to jump down. And the Egyptians, which is Babylon the Great, will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord. Now, ultimately, the cruel Lord is when our Lord comes back. But being that this individual, Joe Biden, is now the president, he immediately, inside of 2 weeks, signed off on 40 executive orders and memorandum. You can put that in, go to Google, give you the news articles and whatnot. There was a meeting that Biden had with Al Sharpton and the so-called black leadership. And in this meeting, and it was leaked, somebody had snuck in a recorder, which they wasn't supposed to get this information. It was like a closed meeting. And in the meeting, he basically told Jake, you can go to hell. If you look up Joe Biden's secret leak meeting with Al Sharpton or whatever, any of those words, and some of these videos actually you can hear the actual conversation. So when I read this verse, the fourth verse, I thought of Biden. And I said prior, if you check my videos, I said, if this guy becomes president, he's going to make Trump look like a Girl Scout. So it goes on to say in the fourth verse, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of the cruel Lord and a fierce king. And this also, what I think about is Daniel the 8th chapter, where it speaks about Antiochus Epiphanes. Now, could this be Antiochus Epiphanes coming back? Only time will tell. And a fierce king shall rule over them, saith Yahweh, the Lord of hosts. Now you know that the word Lord and cruel Lord, the word there is lowercase L-O-R-D. So we know it's not talking about Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. But ultimately, the cruel Lord will be our Lord himself. Now I'm going to jump down because the rest of this is pretty much self-explanatory. It says in the 9th verse, moreover, that they that work in fine flax, and they that weave networks shall be confounded. So just based on what we read, we know it's not talking about ancient Egypt, because ancient Egypt was already destroyed. It never came back to the power that it had. At one point, ancient Egypt was a great power. It says, Isaiah 19 verse 15, neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. And what comes to mind, precept that comes to mind is Lamentation 12. 16 verse. In that day, where we're coming to that day, and things are going to get worse. And ultimately, when we are delivered, the hopeful elect are delivered, that's going to be in the midst of Jacob's trouble, pursuant to Daniel the 12th chapter. It says, in that day shall Egypt be like unto woman, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of Yahweh of hosts, which he shaketh over it. 17. And the land of Judah, now Yahweh represents a people before it's a place. So the land of Israel, or the land of Yahweh, represents Judah, which represent ultimately Israel. The scriptures speak about out of the waters of Yahweh shall be a terror unto Egypt, which is Babylon the Great. Everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself because of the counsel of Yahweh of hosts, which he hath determined against it. The scriptures, Isaiah speaks about the Lord, the words of the Lord, I'm paraphrasing, go not out, come not back to him void. So what did he do? And this is fulfilled before your eyes. Ezekiel 37 chapter, where you got the dry bones in the valley rising up, having sinews put upon them, skin upon their flesh, covering, and the breath. And what is the breath? The knowledge. And the most important thing that we should be doing right now is what? Is prophesying. 17 verse. And the land of Yahweh shall be a terror unto Egypt, and everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in the midst, because of the counsel of Yahweh of hosts, which he hath determined against it. In that day, speak the language of Canaan. So if you go to Google and you put in Canaan or Phoenician. Phoenician is a Greek way of saying Canaan. You read about the language of Canaan that was ancient Hebrew. So are we speaking that language now? Yes. So we have the name of Yahweh and the name of his son. And we name ourselves after Hebrew names. It says, and swear to Yahweh of hosts, one shall be called the city of destruction. So the city of destruction is Babylon the Great. It says, 19 verse, in that day shall there be an altar to Yahweh Yahweh in the midst of the land of Babylon the Great, which the word there is Egypt, as you can see. So what does that alter? The fact that we're teaching, and the thing that we use is the internet, mainly through YouTube. Now, this guy, Rod Gadja, recently rolled up on the GMS brothers out there in Las Vegas, and he said, I'm Rod Gadja, I'm from headquarters. And he basically said these guys didn't have the truth because you heard on the web. Well, wait a minute, you can hear truth on the web. People call. There was one caller. One of his names was Jay, something Jay, like a regular Jake, and I guess he's a regular caller on Sunday at his show, and he opened up by saying, Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shah Barakatah. And he kind of laughed about it.